If the first game breaks, we'll get you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, do the game, tap, this win it. First you again, we're here for the first minute. Carry five, keep it every 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be. Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
Let me just say one more thing. The standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry.
Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. We play for another. We fight for another. Every fight, every play, every round. Hey, Tennessee on 2. 1, 2. Tennessee. Ball, that team ready. Ball, that team ready. Ball, that team ready.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talkin VAWLS that my guy Boogie Bentley runs, so shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Good Sunday evening. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley, hanging out with Coach Jay, Coach Rice, the X Factor. The X Factor said, Boogie, I don't always work on a Sunday, but when I do, it's after a win over the Gators. I'm a bit of a troll. The title of the video, a fan base divided. But let me tell you something. We are divided. I see you guys. I see you on Twitter, on Facebook. I see you guys in the comments. I saw you guys in the live chat last night. We are a fan base divided, but that's the beautiful thing about Talkin VAWLS. Everybody has a voice. We're going to bring you guys on. You can voice your opinions. We may agree. We may disagree. Man, I got some interesting thoughts I'm excited to get into tonight, and I know everybody on the panel does as well. The four of us are going to kind of have like a brief little mini show, 15, 20-ish minutes, and then we're going to open it up to you guys. We're going to bring you on one at a time, just like we did last Sunday. I think that was a hit. I think you guys dug it. I think a lot of you said, hey, man, no more interruptions, no more talking over each other. You guys, sports banter became a hero last Sunday. Sports banter, they're like, oh, my gosh, this guy knows ball. He's well-spoken. I've never heard his voice because y'all are talking over him all the time. But let me catch up with you guys real quick. Big Trey's in the house. I don't know if he became a member or he upgraded his membership, but we appreciate Big Trey. White Pass and Yukon for 10. Can't spell Florida without the letter L. Shout out Steve Spurrier. I like the reference. Appreciate the super chat. John Watts for 5 says Dorfy. Shout out, John. We appreciate any and all Dorfies. Till Valhalla, been around here for 14 months. Thank you for that support. Rip for 5, door fee, Buck Fama. Man, it is Buck Fama week. Beating Alabama may cure all, or it may not. We'll find out. The Lazy Llamas for 5 says door fee. Shout out Lazy Llamas. Drunken Vols been around here for 12 months, says Buck Fama. James Michael, 17 months, says it can go either way. We're still in it. We're still alive. We still got everything to play for. Blockhead's been a member for 15 months. Tyler Maxwell for 5 says defense won the first half, offense won the second. Crowd won overtime. False start, and the running back ran the wrong way. We want Bama. It's all on the line, GBO. Shout out, Tyler. We appreciate it. Stevie J drops $100 super chat.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I missed it. By the way, shout out to Tim, the Tennessee Tornado last night. The guy says, what do I have to do to be the top donation of the month? I said $100.01. And he drops $200. I was telling my wife, she's like, why did he not just drop $100.01? I said, I don't know, but I'm not complaining. You guys are crazy. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Stevie J for 100. He says, this is for the win last night. I had to dip at halftime. Have a great night and a great show, Boogie. GBO. Stevie J is a man of his word. He said he was going to drop a hundo after every win. He has done that after every win. So hopefully the Vols keep rolling because we appreciate you, Stevie J. Vol fan 25 for 5 door fee. Florida won't make it happen this season along with Bama. Shout out Vol fan 25. All right, let's start a little positivity. A fan base divided. I feel like me and Coach Jay might be the moderators, and we're going to look down. We're going to look down on the two below us, and one's going to be positivity, and one's going to be negativity. We're going to let them duke it out. So we're going to start with the positivity. X, a win over Florida is a win over Florida, and you had to come on here and fly your flag.
Yes, sir. I say GBO all day, every day. See, look, even got like saying my hater shades on. Because listen, call me.
Whoa,
Hey, look,
wait, hold on, don't move.
Mr. Gator hate.
Look, I can see you, and I can see you. Look to your right. Right there. Oh, that's no, the other right. Right. Right there. Look at that. I see X and I see X. I love it. All right, go ahead.
yeah, I say I got my hater, my hater shades on, you know what I'm saying, hater blockers on. Because listen, I ain't worried about Arkansas. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We just had a bad game. It's all good. It's all good. But guess what? Y'all know how I feel about them Gators. And you know what I said in the last show, what we was going to do to the Gators. I'm not going to repeat it. But you remember what I said in the last show.
Good social media discipline.
Yeah. But listen, a dub is a dub. It's just like what Josh Heupel, said in the beginning of this video. Look, it ain't going to be perfect. It don't have to be perfect. As long as you go out there, you grit, you fight, you get the dub. And listen, I know we're going to get more into it a little bit, but listen, the two MVPs on both sides of the ball for us was definitely James Pierce with that forced fumble recovery, and then definitely Dylan Sampson. Listen, at the end, Dylan Sampson said, nah, keep feeding me the rock. Keep feeding me the rock. Because I said, look, we're supposed to go for the field goal in the overtime, but I love that this team and probably Josh Hype was like, nah, we're going for that tutty. We're gonna put a steak knife through some gator meat. So, but now I know there's a lot of things we're going to get more into as far as like our offense, the tempo, what we need to do, game plan all together. But nah, I'm happy with this dub, man. Like I'm not, like a Negaval and kind of divided and saying that Nico is a ukulele from,
ukulele.
or he's like JG 2.0. Like, no, guys, because listen, you got to keep in mind too, Nico is still a freshman, guys. I mean, and it's not all just Nico. So I know we'll get more into it, but that's just the positive side of it is that, listen, look, enjoy this dub, man, because we got Bama coming, and they're going to play us tough. So last night's game also proved to me, too, that if we can hang with the Gators like that, I'm pretty sure we can hang with Alabama like that. So I'm excited.
Here's my thing. It's like it's so hot or cold. It's either the sky is falling or Vols by 50. To me, like, this is just how I fan. And Kaner says it all the time, and I got to learn from Kaner. He says you can't control how other people fan. You can't control how other people react. You can't. He's like, everybody has the right to fan however they fan. For me, Like I look at history, right? I look at where this program has been. And when you look back and Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt, they beat Florida once in 12 years combined. Like we have been through the dark days. And then you go back prior to that, Fulmer lost the last 4. So when you look at the last 20 years and we beat Florida 3 times, and like I get it, there's things to be there are concerns with this football team, huge concerns, and we're going to get into them. I know Coach Rice probably's got a list a mile long that he's concerned about. There's things that I'm concerned about, but the way I fan is when the clock hit 0 in overtime. Well, I guess it didn't hit 0. When Dylan Sampson punched that football in, I was ready to celebrate. I'm ready to talk about beating Florida for the second time at home in 3 years, which not been done since 1990, 1992. Coach Rice, when were you born?
92.
You were little, sweet little baby Coach Rice. We rocking him to sleep with his binky the last time we did this. That's why I preach so aggressively. I don't want people to take things for granted. Why? Because I've been there and I've done that. Because I was a teenager in the 90s and I was a young adult in the early 2000s, and I took it all for granted, and then it all got ripped away. And I'm going, this is not Tennessee football. And we've been mocked and we've been laughed at and we've been ridiculed for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And now we're not where we want to be. Somebody said in a comment or in the chat, Boogie, expectations have changed. Yes. But I'm still going to celebrate the wins. Coach Rice, give us your thoughts. I know you got a list a mile long, so the floor is yours.
Well, I'm going to list a couple positives first, and then I got my long list of negatives. Positives, I did out the gate see some modifications to trying to improve Nico's, sides of the field, splitting the field in half, rolling him out, giving him a clear view, giving him a double option, whether he can pass or run the ball. They covered the flat defender. He made a great throw out to the boundary to Squirrel White. So I like that, the way they started the game. The first drive was going great. Nico's he can't make that mistake there. He's got to be able to pull that in, because that changes the whole momentum of the game there. So you go down there and score, we may have won that game by 24 points if we go down there and score and establish something. And that also built, that fumble just seemed like it, killed the confidence of the offense because it was rolling at first. Secondly, second positive, Arian Carter, Jeremiah Teenlander, way to step up after Keenan Cooley got hurt early in the game. I thought they played great, especially Arian Carter. They had a couple missed gaps, but that's going to happen from time to time, especially when you have a team that does a lot of shifts and motions, like Florida does. Especially with young linebackers, both of them being sophomores, so they'll learn from that. I thought wide receivers played their best game, other than a couple drops, specifically Nimrod. I thought Brazel played his best game as a Tennessee Volunteer. I thought Squirrel played awesome. Limited to what Brew could do. I think he still played his tail off on the outside, because that's just Brew. And the interior defensive line and James Pierce, they
are so athletic. The interior defensive line is so athletic.
Oh, it's unreal. Jackson Moy, Bryson Eason had a game last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
him and Amari Thomas.
Dude, that play in overtime that Eason made.
Of course, they were stunting, so he kind of fed right into that, but he recognized it and ended that real quickly. But the negatives. Offensive line, I'm going to start with that. Tackles, Hurd and Campbell. It's bad. Simply put, it's bad. They've made some adjustments to where they could kind of, overcome the deficiencies of the offensive line, but they didn't do enough of it. Like getting Nico out of the pocket is a premier way. I think they need to do that more. Like there was open space on the outside. It avoids that A-gap rush. And it also simplifies stuff for Nico. run blocking, I don't know what's happened the last 2 weeks. Because if it wasn't for that one run right before the end of the half for Dylan Sampson, we would have been, or before I can't remember when that was. It may have been the end of the game that he had that long run, but in the regulation, he wouldn't have gone over 100 yards. But the offensive line, point blank, has to be better. We need to get our best players on the field. Where's Mike Matthews? You're not telling me he's the most talented, most potential in that wide receiver room. I don't know if he's not got chemistry with Nico right now, or if he doesn't know. I know someone commented he may not know the whole playbook, but you can put plays in during the week to make sure that kid gets the ball at least 3 times a game. I mean, he's way too talented, and there's ways you can put in play for him to get the ball. Plus, it keeps him engaged. I mean, everybody knows this transfer portal and the ins and outs of it. And then, lastly, Nico. Nico's got to be better. Point blank. I'm not going to get into a lot because, I mean, he's missing throws that he should have made. Yes, give him a couple drops that could have been made, but there was 4 or 5 throws that were game changers that he just completely missed. Staring down wide receivers, not going through his progressions well. I know a lot of that is getting, quick feet with his offensive line struggling, and the 3 ones that for him, he was been known to have his best ball was his deep ball. Well, he hasn't hit one in forever. And then besides the one to Brazil where he got pushed out of bounds, and we need to see that more. That's another negative.
100%.
100%.
We did that 21-22 to Tillman tons of times, and Tillman made plays. Brazil could do it too. I promise.
I think Brazil could be better than Tillman.
Yeah, I think he
at
can.
50-50 balls.
Yeah,
I do. And then lastly, Nico's got to step up and just make a play. Like I'm not saying he ain't making plays, because he will make a play from time to time, but plays that change the game. Hitting those deep balls, hitting when they has pressure in the face. So what if he has a little pressure in the face? It wasn't so much to where he couldn't hit Squirrel White on that return route. That's a touchdown. I mean, there's just certain things that I want to see from Nico going forward. Yes, I know he's a redshirt freshman, and I don't want anybody to get me wrong saying I want to bench Nick. No, that would be the last possible thing to do is bench Nico. He's growing, he's learning, but the expectations we've put on him, and I go and tell you, the expectations he's put on himself, he wants to be better than what he's been. And it's simply put, brother, I know the coaches have to, do things to put him in better chances to succeed, but you have to go out and make a play. No more excuses. Quit looking at everybody else and pointing finger. You got to go make a play. If you want to be the leader of this team and go be who Tennessee fans think you are and think you're capable of, you need to step up and go make a play. And he just hasn't done it to this point.
Let me say this real quick. We got almost 500 people watching on a Sunday night. That is a great number. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Do us a favor and hit the thumbs up. That takes 2 seconds. It helps the channel. We would appreciate it. You could also hit share, blast us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Tell Tom. Y'all remember Tom over at MySpace? Nico used to be in Coach Rice's top 8. Coach Rice kicked him out of his top 8. He said, Gaston Moore quickly moved up. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. That's the truth. That's the truth. If you still got MySpace, you can go find that. It's the truth. I would never tell a lie on this channel. There's so much I want to respond to, but Coach Jay has the floor, and I have a feeling he's going to say a lot of what's on my mind. I just have a feeling that's what's coming. It wouldn't be Talking Balls on a Sunday night.
Got to be Talking Balls. I mean, I agree with pretty much everything Coach Rice said. I think it's just kind of how you digest it. Maybe that's a little differently, but I agree with, like I said, like almost all of what he said. Let me just start at the top with Nico. Nico's got to be better in those situations. I kind of agreed with JD Piquel's take two today.
Dude, he read directly from my notes. He read from my notes, Coach Jay.
I didn't. Yeah, the wide receivers have to help him a little too.
Yeah.
I mean, two of those 3 deep balls needed caught. Would they have been difficult balls to catch? Sure. Would they
Say
have
what
been
he
hard
said,
balls
Coach
to
Jay.
catch?
Say what he
Perfect.
said. He needs wide receivers to make scholarship plays.
They need wide receivers to make scholarships plays. I mean, Hendon Hooker's great because Ramel Keaton lays out and makes an incredible catch, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 layouts, balls hit hand and go through hand once. You got to make that play, and we're having a different discussion. But even with that said, like Coach Rice said, at the end of the day, it's about adding up receipts. And if you're not cashing enough checks, it don't really matter if the wide receivers miss 2 balls or not. So I think both things, yeah, like we say, 2 things can be true. Yeah, do scholarship receivers need to make scholarship plays and catches and help Nico out? 100%. Does he need to be on the money at a higher rate? Yes, 100% also. So it's just kind of a matter of 2 things can be true in my eyes.
Because the only receiver I've seen that stepped up is Dante. I mean, he's the only receiver that stepped up.
I mean, like I don't think I thought Brew had a gritty performance.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
I thought Brew had a gritty performance on the outside. I know a lot of it was unseen, but I rewatched that game a couple times, and I did catch a lot of what Coach Rice was talking about. Yeah, 100%. Still, to me, as a coach looking at it, there's moments where I saw things being fixed. I thought Nico had his worst play that he's had this season on his interception in that game. But I also thought right before half, he corrected it on the play where he looks off Brew, looks off the whip route, and then hits Nimrod over the middle for a slant, steps into the pocket, which we were asking him to do, and then we just don't get that catch. I mean, that for me, there was stuff to build on specifically in the second half of this game for the Volunteers. I think I said it in a comment today, right, Boogie? There's a lot of work, a ton of work that needs done on the offensive end. But I didn't think there was much to build on in the Arkansas game. I thought there was a lot to build on here.
I think that's exactly where I'm at. And what we're going to do is we're going to let's do this. We're going to open up the Talkin VAWLS Elite. We're bringing you guys on one at a time. X, you want to throw some final words of wisdom out? Then I'm going to give my opinion on the rewatch today, and then we're going to move into the fan call-in portion.
Yeah, it's all good. Basically just my thoughts and opinion about it is like what, Coach just said. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can learn from this game to get ready for Alabama. Because, yeah, it's like we didn't see much in the last game at Arkansas, but with this game is that you can definitely learn and grow from this and to get better, and you're going to have to, because Bama's coming into town, and let's be real, they almost fell short too to South Carolina. So, but I know that that's last week's game. They're going to get prepared and ready for us. They got footage on us, but I mean, overall though, I guess the only thing that we can be happy about is that this team can fight. I mean, they fought to the gritty end, and as a Tennessee fan, I mean, you got to love to see it, because think about it. How many times over the previous years when Florida is up by 20 or whatever it may be, and then we just give up? Like
they didn't panic. They didn't panic. They could have panicked really.
We haven't panicked all year.
Nothing.
All year
they didn't panic. I didn't think they panicked at all in the second half down 10.
Right.
I thought all of them were collected, I guess is the right word for it.
Yeah. So my final thoughts is, like I said, guys, I know there's some things to work on. Let's enjoy this win. As you can see, I'm dressed out. I'm enjoying this win. I'm not divided or saying, bench Nico and all this and that. Like, we all knew we had offensive line problems and we got to get that corrected. But yeah, guys, just enjoy this win, and let's just get ready for Bama coming into town and see what happens.
All right, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. We'll catch up on Wednesday. X will be back in the house talking balls live Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You look clean, X. You look way better than the rest of us.
Look at sharp.
Appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. I say GBO.
See you.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Dang, man, that the defense really turned it up in the second half. I think everyone's super proud of them.
But you know what?
I know someone made a comment about the offense in the second half, and yeah, like I said, I thought they played much better in the second half, but defense really turned it on. I mean, they were running for 10 yards. I think their starting running back when he got hurt was averaging 10 yards a run or something like that. That's unacceptable. But besides that, whoo.
But you got roasted last night because you made a comment about the defense not playing perfect or not play. I don't even remember what you said. And somebody's like, "How dare you? The defense won the game." The defense did win the game. But when you when I'm putting things in perspective this morning and I'm piecing it all together, and you're looking at, after they gave up that field goal, the very next drive is when Tennessee or Florida goes all the way down the field and they try to go for it on 4th and 1. Ricky Gibson just makes a football play, man.
Woo!
Like he reads, reacts, and makes a big boy play and gets to stop.
All the Gator fans are eating themselves too. That was the worst play call I've ever seen. Yeah. I actually kind of liked the play call. I thought just Ricky Gibson made a hell of a play.
So what happened on 1st and goal from the 1? What happened on 1st and goal from the 1?
It's
James Pierce
they
made a play.
Too. But listen, when Coach Rice is up here talking, or I'm up here talking, right? Like I graded Nico a D+ the other night, right? Personally, I gave him a C+ in this game, but I'm going to keep it 100 with you. A C+ is unacceptable from what I expect from Nico. That's the bottom line. And I'm sure Coach Rice has heard this quote before. It's an old Vince Lombardi quote. And I know a lot of coaches like to hang in their office. Perfection is not obtainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence.
Yep.
Dang it. Chase perfection so you can catch excellence. We need to do that. We need to get better. It's fair to have criticism. The only thing I ask this fan base is to rally behind our kids and support them with everything you got.
Look, I'm gonna open it up to the fan call-in show. I've been waiting for 27 minutes and 28 seconds to give my opinion. So I feel like y'all, when I'm doing the intro that goes for 12 minutes and y'all like, can I say something, please, Boogie? Will you shut up? Everybody's questioning the play calling. I said last night there were some things with the play calling that encouraged me about moving forward and playing Alabama. And Coach Rice even said it. Like if Coach Rice sees it and saying it, like there are things that encourage me. Like, yes, Nico cannot fumble that exchange.
No,
but it's like we're finally seeing, all right, Nico's got it, man. You're pulling this thing. It's open. You can run. And then, I kind of thought they went away from it. You saw a 9-yard run get called back for holding. You saw a 22-yard run get called back for holding. And then I was thinking, man, they went away from that. Coach Jay, you posted that the how Nico sold. Play. That was in the fourth quarter. Late in the third, Nico pulled one and ran another one for like 10, 12
for
yards.
Like 12 yards. I tried to post it. I clipped it, and for some reason my phone wouldn't let me post it. I was trying to tag Coach Rice in it because I know Coach Rice liked it. They were heading kind of like this way on the screen. He fakes the run to his right, pulls it, heads around the end, picks up like a first down, like 12 yards, something like that. Yards. Yeah. And we did something stupid to crap the bed after it. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. No,
but it was but it was great. Yeah, go ahead, Coach Rice. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, I mean that's more what I want to see. I mean, I want to see some pin and pull and trap plays empty and stuff like that with Nico. We may get that this week, but I mean, I just think there's still a lot more in the bag that we can expose to use for Nico's talents and our wide receivers and our running backs. But hey, I did like some of the adjustments they made from Arkansas to this week. They showed it in the first drive. There's a couple other drives where they did a couple things. You saw the comeback of the stack formations. I mean,
yes,
the quick motions from the slot to the outside. You saw that. You saw a jet sweep with the power read off of it if Nico wanted to keep it. There were several things that I liked but we just got to execute better.
Coach,
And
Coach,
then
can I ask you a question real quick? Sorry, but
yeah,
while you were on
no,
the
that's all right.
stack, because
We
because
got to
like
add another
if
live
it's a
stream. We
defense,
got to
if
add
it's
another live stream, but like
if
the
it, just
day
real
after
quick,
live stream.
on the stack, there was that one, and I thought they looked great in the stack for the most part when they ran it, but there was that one play, and it wasn't a great throw, no. But what happened? Was it a wide receiver communication? It was almost like they ran the same route,
Oh,
and I think Nico
I
tried
mean,
to throw the back
Brew
route.
and
Do you know what happened?
Nimrod.
Like, what was that? Was that just
It looked like
missed routes
Nimrod
and
was
missed
supposed
throw,
to
or
run a
what?
crossing route,
Okay,
and Brew was supposed to run a curl to comeback route behind
gotcha.
it. And I
Okay,
think
that's what I was
Nimrod
kind of
ran the
thinking.
wrong route.
Okay,
Hey, I may
gotcha.
not be an offensive coordinator. I play a mean game on EA Sports College Football 25. You got two wide receivers in the same spot. That ain't the quarterback's fault. That's
No,
somebody on.
that's
That's a
wide
wide
receiver.
receiver's fault every single time. My point is, this coaching staff is recognizing Nico's struggles, and they're trying to set him up for success. They know that him keeping the ball is going to set him up for success. They know that rolling him out of the pocket is going to set him up for success. I thought Sampson ran outside some, which is going to open things up. I think this coaching staff is seeing it, and they're adapting. And yes, Saturday was ugly. We came out with a win, but I am encouraged that this coaching staff is willing to change. And I got to address this because the biggest troll on social media is in the chat, but he's a member of the channel. And this guy I've been asked to ban this guy more than any other person in the history of the Facebook group, but I'm not going to ban
Austin Warren.
Way more. Coach Rice, way more than Austin Warren, way more. But he doesn't do anything that's against what I believe in. He's a troll. And
Yeah.
like if you don't like him, then block him.
Yeah.
But he's trolling me now, and it's working because I'm responding. He said the problem is media. Do y'all know any YouTube content creators? I don't know any, but if I met one, I bet I'd slap him upside the face. If I ever run across one in Knoxville, I'll slap him around. But YouTubers, that's the problem. YouTubers hyped up Nico, so it's our fault. You know, and it's funny because one of the best super chats ever last night saying, "Hey, Coach Rice hyped Nico up, and I believed it. That's my fault. That's not Coach J's fault. That's my fault for believing it." Like, guess who's going to hype Nico up all week? Guess who's going to enjoy every win? Me.
I'm gonna keep hyping him up, man.
I'm buying all the Nico stock. See, Austin Warren.
He's gonna turn the corner for you. Don't you worry about it.
Coach Rice knows what's up.
Yeah.
Coach Rice knows what's up.
I got a whole career to be right.
All right, let me catch up with super chats, and then we got to get you guys on. I swear, we're just going to turn in. We're gonna fire Kaner, and we're gonna do a day after live stream on Sunday nights, and we're gonna do a fan call-in show on Monday nights, and Kaner's gonna get fired. That's what we're gonna. I just feel like we have so many more thoughts and opinions after the rewatch. So it's like sometimes, like when we get on here and we get going before the fan call-in portion, we've done 33 minutes, and we've not even let these guys on yet. Sean Cross has an orange boy. Let's play the dang clip.
Rocky Top!
He says, "Come play at Graysburg tomorrow, Boogie, at 11. If not, I'll wait and beat on Tuesday. Love your content, brother. Coach Jay needs a cowboy hat. Get you a cowboy hat, Coach Jay.
I have one. But I swear to God, my head grew or something, and now I don't fit in. I don't know. I got a big
ego.
It's that ego. It's that big.
Or you're on steroids.
Head.
Which one is it?
Yeah,
Barry Bonds.
It's roids, man. Can't you tell by my gigantic physique?
Yeah. I got a gigantic physique too. It's just in all the wrong areas. Appreciate you, Sean Cross. I will see you Tuesday night. Don't you worry. Big Orange Mountain for 5 says a lot about Heupel's success, that fans' unmet expectations are based upon Heupel's success. No one is quoting years prior. That's spot on. MG Way for 2. I'm not sure if we have a playoff team, fellas. We'll find out. Jeff, been a member for 6 months, says Balls World Order. We appreciate you, Jeff. Flyfish drops a orange boy. I like it. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
He says, I'm not sure Nico will ever live up to the NIL hype, new era of college football. Look, when people know, or they think they know, or they speculate, or allegedly, it's the new era of college football. People are always going to spend other people's money, and they're going to say, we need a refund. Well, was that your money? How much money did you contribute to that $8 million? Because if you didn't, I don't think you need to be saying we need a refund. I think you should probably say the Haslams need a refund. It is college football in 2024. We knew. I said it all off season. Like when Nico makes the first mistake, he's going to get roasted.
Sure.
Because and it's not. Do you think it needs to be the three of us on here or Dauber or X or whoever talking about how great Nico is? You're talking about the highest rated prospect in the modern era, like one of the highest rated recruits to ever come through Tennessee. You don't think that expectation would have been there? Like people would be acting the same way. I could shut down the channel tomorrow. Guess what? There's going to be somebody else on here doing the same dang thing. JD Piquel, Josh Pate, they're going to be doing the same dang thing. James Westbrook becomes a member. Shout out, James. Tim's been a member for 9 months. We appreciate you. MG Way's been a member for 16 months. Jay Carter becomes a new member. Thank you guys for the memberships. Think about hitting the join button right beside subscribe. You can do it for as little as $1. We're going to give away a free shirt, a Buck Fama shirt. If you don't like to be offensive, we'll give away a Beat Bama shirt. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. We're giving away a shirt every month throughout the course of the season. So thank you to the members. James Westbrook for 2. Appreciate that. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. Papa J for 5. This bummer game reminds me of the games of the 80s and 90s when UT gave me ulcers from series games. LOL GBO. Papa J's struggling. He's struggling, man. Every live chat, he's not happy. Papa J, can we go back 7 years ago? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about 7 years ago versus what's happening now? Enjoy it, Papa J. We just beat the Gators back-to-back times in Neyland Stadium. Celebrate that, Papa J. Celebrate it. Sword the Demon for 10. Pretty win? No. But even then, remember Vegas isn't emotional. What is the line? 2 points?
Yep.
Y'all read my notes. Less than a field goal. Everyone is struggling. It's not just us. We kept fighting. Execute on your job and just win. Thank you, Sword the Demon. All right. We're finally opening this thing up. Bleed on. You gonna ask him a question? Hit him up, Coach Jay.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask him a question right off the bat because they brought that up. Bleed Orange. Is everyone struggling, or do we have more parity in college football? Did the the transfer portal NIL, did it save college football? Is college football fun again now that we don't have only 2 teams up at the top and the same boring crap for 7 years?
The simple answer is yes. It took a couple years to get caught up with college football, but yeah, I mean, who would have ever thought that Vanderbilt would beat Alabama? Who would have ever thought they would?
Oh no,
Bama sniped them right now, dude. That was ESPN and the college football committee took him out.
You roasted him. He had a comment and a thought process, and he comes on. And you're like, let me throw a question at you. And it destroyed him. We'll see if Bleed Orange pops back in. Let's get Sports Banter in here. Sports Banter, you're coming from my job. You were the fan favorite last week on the fan call-in show. Does that make you happy that people aren't talking over you? People aren't talking over you anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
What are your thoughts after last night's win?
Well, as always, a win is a win, especially over Florida. I'm happy we won the game. We wasn't perfect by any means. I'm happy with the defense. My brightest spot of the whole game was, I was a little worried when Peely went down, but how T-Lander and Carter stepped in, I was really encouraged by that. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole game. I thought they both played a great game, not just in the run defense and also containing the quarterback. I saw him stop the quarterback before he got started a few times, which was good. And but also how T-Lander and Carter did in the pass game as well, where last week they were all getting mixed up and like they're going to the same side, covering the same part of the field. And, they just, you could tell they were confused in the passing coverage. Last week, I felt like them two did a good job after Peely went down, and they kept the passes, underneath over the middle tightened up, which I really like seeing that. Offensively, I like the fact that you could see the adjustments they've made. I like the fact that they were a little more aggressive. It just boils down to execution. Nico, and I'm the last person that thought he would be missing some of the passes he's missing. I mean, and I don't think it's something that's going to continue. I believe he's going to get it together at some point. But it wasn't just the deep balls, which, you guys were talking about the guys could have laid out. I was thinking the same thing. And not a guarantee that they would have made those catches, but at least gave it an attempt to lay out and maybe try to catch those balls. But he also missed some short stuff that I didn't like seeing either. And and like I said, I'm still 100% Nico. I think he's going to be great once he gets it all together. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but hey, I'm kind of halfway with Alabama. I think our defense is playing well enough to beat Alabama. If I'm being honest, I don't believe our offense is, because I don't think we hold them under 20 next week. I think we have to score high 20s, maybe early 30s in order to win that game. So I think our offense is going to have to play better next week in order to win that game. And it just boils down to execution, catching those short routes and opening up those long routes for later in the game. And Nico's got to be more accurate with those as well. And he did run some, and I like seeing that he ran more this week. A bad thing as well though is the penalties. They need to cut down on the penalties, the discipline when it comes to that. Seems like almost every time we had a big play, or a certain point in that game where I was like, every time we get a big play, it get called back for a hold or something. And yeah, that was just it was just frustrating seeing that. I've been a Vol fan all my life. I've seen the ups and the downs, through the 90s and early 2000s, and and these guys who've never experienced any of the glory days, they don't understand. It's different when you felt it and then you want it back, and then you feel like it's there. It's just almost there. And honestly, I feel like if we win this next week, I think it's going to feel like it is there. It's going to pretty much be there again. So this next week is very important, because then we got a little while to play Georgia, and we got a few games in between. But this year, anybody can beat you, so you got to show up every single week. It's like Vanderbilt will beat you, Kentucky will beat you. I still think we're in Kentucky's head though, so I'm not really worried about Kentucky like I am Vanderbilt, to be honest. But
it's like Coach Jay said, parity. We got parity in
Yeah.
college football. Like
Yeah,
Ole Miss already has 2 losses. Everybody
Yeah.
was crowning them the college football playoff contender, and they've lost to Kentucky and LSU. Missouri got blown out by Texas A&M. Alabama beats Georgia, and then they turn around and lose to Vanderbilt, and then Georgia barely beats Kentucky. And this is what drives me nuts, right? Because it's like you just said, Sports Banner. It's like, let's remember where we've been and where we are, and we're not celebrating the Florida win. We're going, all right, let's look ahead. All right, we're going to lose to Alabama. We're going to lose to Georgia. Probably going to lose to Vanderbilt and Kentucky. So I'm chalking it up to a 7-5 season. Just enjoy the win. And I think there is parity in college football. And you can't. Could you lose those games? Yes, but guess what? After Arkansas, people were saying, we're not beating Florida playing like that. Guess what we did? We beat Florida. So now what are they saying? We're not beating Bama playing like that. But what happens when we beat Bama? Well, we're not beating Georgia. Y'all want to know why I freaking get a red face and I'm about to have a heart attack screaming, move the goalpost? Because this is what we deal with week in and week out. Like, let's enjoy it and move on. Go ahead, Sports Banner.
Well, if you look at the scores in the SEC this yesterday, outside of Texas and Oklahoma, every single game was 10 points or less. I mean, nobody beat anybody by more than 10 points. So that just shows you right there. I mean, like every team you play in the SEC is going to be tough. So, you got to bring it. You got to bring it every week in the SEC. It's going to be hard. Even the teams we believe we can beat, that we should beat, they're not gimme games anymore. And I do believe that is NIL, that is transfer portal. And at first, I'm old school. I didn't like the whole idea, but the fact that the games are better and everybody has an equal playing field, I'm all about parity and competition. So if it improves that, then I happily admit I was wrong about it. If there's one thing I don't like the free-for-all transfer portal. I like kids to have a little bit of accountability for the decisions you make. And if you can just cut tail and go at any moment, that's not teaching them any kind of responsibility. I think, and plus it's hard to manage a team as it is with a little bit of a restriction. I mean, put a year or put 2 years on it, something, you commit, and that's that. But, I mean, that's the only thing I've got against it, is just put a little bit of restriction on the portal, and then I think that'll actually improve the parity in the game if you can do that, if you can find a way to regulate that. But yeah.
All right, man. You're the man, Sports Banner. I'm so glad that we are doing this now, so everybody gets to come on, talk, give their opinions. You won the chat over last week, brother. So we appreciate you. We're gonna let you bounce, and we're gonna move on to the next. We got some people queued up. So have a good night, brother. We will catch you on the next one.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Let me catch up with Super Chats real quick. Old Smokey's been a member for 23 months. We appreciate that. Jay Carter becomes a member of the channel. Tim, the Tennessee Tornado, for 5. I don't think Heupel's offense has been figured out. It still works. Problem is not is that the offensive players keep messing before we can get going. Keep messing up.
I don't think there's anyone that disagrees with the statement. We need to execute better on offense. I mean, it's.
Again,
it's just kind of
keep it simple, stupid. Did Nico play bad? Yes.
Coach,
did the wide receivers play bad? Yes. Did the offensive line play bad? Yes. All of it.
Yep.
Bail your quarterback out. Bail your quarterback out. Nico, you got somebody running free? Hit him. And you don't even need to hit all three. God bless. I'm going on rants. I was saying this earlier, and then Coach Jay made a point. Then we got the defensive players made plays. What happens if Florida converts that 4th and 1 and they go down and say they get 3 or they go score early in the game? It's 10-0. 1st and goal from the 1, and James Pierce, what does he do? He makes a play. That could have been a touchdown. Now it's 17-0. Florida could have been up 21, 24, 28-0 early in this game. But the defensive players made plays when push comes to shove. Guess what? If they didn't, we would be sitting here roasting the defense. Meanwhile, on offense, Nico missed guys. Guys dropped passes. The offensive line gave up sacks. We could be having a completely different conversation if the offensive guys just made a handful of plays and the defensive guys failed to make plays, Coach Rice. Different conversation.
It is. And that's the reason why the defense is getting the glory right now, and the offense is getting the bashing, because the defense week after week is stepping up. Yes, they at times are bend but don't break, but they're making plays when they have to, and the offense is yet to get to that point. And one more thing, Caleb Perry. I don't want to throw out Caleb Perry from the linebackers playing well yesterday. I think Caleb Perry stepped up and played well as well with Arian Carter and T. Lander.
Jalen Smith struggled a little bit.
Yeah,
he's
Jalen
young.
Smith did struggle.
He's young.
He's young, but he's growing.
He needs to come along.
Yeah, it felt like speed-wise. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to highlight him in my rewatch.
I think it was the shifting.
His steps were wrong, right?
Coach Rice, you said that in the game day breakdown. They did it a lot of shifting, not just motion, shifting. And it created a lot of confusion, especially after Peely went down. These linebackers are slapping each other on the hip. They're looking around. It created confusion for Tennessee on defense.
Yeah. In my keys to the game, I'd carry the fight to your opponent for 60 minutes. Played a half of football again. Failed that one. Protect our quarterback. Produce a push up front. I don't think we got that one. I said DBs and linebackers, the flats are there. Go pick one. That one hit, though. So that was nice. And, man, I posted it, too. Whoever follows me on Twitter, that redirect into the safety, leading his route into your coverage, and then pin and wheeling. And what I mean by pin and wheeling is pinning your hip around, wheeling your body, and squatting into that flat.
It's perfect curl
textbook.
Flat linebacker. Perfect curl flat linebacker coverage.
Let me catch back up with you guys, and we're going to get Bleed Orange back on here. Tennessee, Tim, the Tennessee Tornado for 5. We had 2 drives in the first half that should have been points on the board. Miscues by Nico and the O-line resulted in 0 points. Execution has to be better. MD Vols for 20. That's an Orange Boy. We'll do it.
Rocky Top!
He says, good evening, fellas. Just popped in first and foremost. How's Coach Jay's mama? Good evening, fellas. Just popped in first and foremost. Why did that come through twice? Why is that there twice?
I don't know. I forgot to update everyone, though. I picked up mama from the hospital at the wee hours of the morning. Her CAT scan came back good. She still got some appointments. Some of her blood work came back not exactly optimal. She had some some vitamin deficiencies. Like the blood almost showed like a small bit of mild kidney failure, which is what caused the incident. She was really dehydrated. She has a virus, and it was kind of feeding into her recovery from her brain surgery. She had 102-degree temperature, so she was malnourished. I know family's been trying to bring her like soup and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff. So it was hard. I think the hardest part of it was not being able to be with her in the hospital because they wouldn't let me be there. But I really do thank everyone for letting me hang out with you guys and take my mind off of it while I was kind of handcuffed. I really appreciated that. And I told her about the chat and showed her some of y'all's prayers, and it really meant a lot to her. So thank you all for bringing a smile to her face as well. I appreciate it.
That's why, man, this community,
Mhm.
I never expected that this is what this channel was going to turn into. I thought it was going to be talking Tennessee football all the time. And man, oh man, I say it all the time about the community aspect. It was never on my radar. It's never something that I expected. I didn't expect to form relationships with a dude from West Tennessee and a dude from freaking California that we would have never met if it wasn't for YouTube and Tennessee football. And it's like, my wife's like, you wouldn't let your brother spend the night with us, but you're gonna let Coach Jay. And I'm like, yeah, that dude's my brother. Like, my door is open. That's family. I'm so proud of this community, and it's not us, it's you guys in the chat make this thing what it is. So yeah, that's awesome. We're praying for, the deal, man. You need us, you hit us up, and it's awesome to see the chat respond the way they do. Sam Walker becomes a member of the channel. Shout out Sam. The big ultimate troll, JJ Lambens, been a member for 24 months. Why would I block this guy? Well, James, you didn't have to drop another super chat. James said, messed up the super chat earlier, meant to ask if you guys think Ellerby will still be around next year. I had this pinned. You didn't have to drop another super chat. I get it. You messed up the super chat earlier. I compare this a lot to Fulmer. Ellerby's his buddy, and he is loyal. And if he doesn't develop, like I'm giving him a pass in recruiting. I think he's done a good job recruiting the class of 24, the class of 25. He whiffed those first two cycles. But you got David Sanders, you got Bennett Warren, you got Nick Moore, you got some talent in these last. You better develop it. And so I'm not will he be back next year? I think so, 100%. Coach Rice, I know you got strong opinions on Ellerby. He's yet to prove it, and I think that we could be seeing some loyalty here. I don't think Josh Heupel would ever fire him.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't understand if it's not working. I mean, I get he missed the first few classes, and there's reasons why he may have missed because of the issues Tennessee was having elsewhere off the field. But at some point, all the guys that we have, Cooper Mays, Darnell Wright, and others that have went on and played really well, they weren't here when they were already here when they got here. None of Ellerby's guys that he's brought in has developed or played a single snap. And it's very concerning. And the guys that he's had here, I mean, look at Hurd and Campbell and Spraggins, I think, has gone down since the sophomore year.
I think so, too. I do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I said this post
it...
game. I think Spraggins could have gone pro after last year.
I don't know. He's always been good at run blocking, but his pass blocking has been very skeptical.
There was some A-gap pressure that was really worrisome out of Spragg the last 3 weeks in a row.
And Carriage is always like he's always been a liability. I don't know. At some point, you got to step up and realize something's not working. And if they did fire Elby, I don't think David Sanders is going anywhere. I think he loves Coach Heupel in Tennessee. And so, but friendships are friendships. So
Yeah, it's yeah. Bleed Orange, do you have any thoughts on the offensive line, Glenn Ellerby? Or if you want to change directions, the floor is yours. You can change directions.
No, I mean, I want to see a little bit more. I know there is some concern. I agree with Coach Rice. We got to see some of those guys that he's recruited or that he's had times to develop come in and do some things. But I want to switch gears real quick and say that my prayers and thoughts are with your mom real quick, Coach Jay.
Thank you.
And I don't want to bring it down, but at the same time, you spoke on it, Boogie, and this fan base is family. I don't know either one of you guys from Adam other than being on here, and you could sleep in my own bed if you ever needed to.
Wait, are you
my
going to
wife's
sleep
not
there?
in it, but
Are you going to sleep there too?
No, unless you want to, but I'll go to the couch. You know what I mean? I'll
snuggle up with Dauber.
Yeah, we can hang out.
Snuggle with Dauber.
Just guys being guys. Bleed Orange.
Oh yeah, for sure. My apologies earlier on my alarm went off. I eat crowns. I'm a dumb Marine, so I had an alarm go off and I had to get off there to get that thing turned off. Hopefully it didn't mess up the show, but no, I think that the offensive line needs to pick it up, But at the end of the day, we beat Florida. Heupel has done something that no one's done since Fulmer. So let's celebrate that. I get we want to nitpick, and I get there are some of our fans that really boil my blood when let's not bash the kids. Let's bash let's say things about the execution like we do on here. Yes, we are fans. We're going to talk about certain things. And yes, has Nico lived up to it? No. But at the end of the day, I think he will by the end of the season. There are some things that just aren't clicking. Okay. Awesome. Did he get $8 million? Who knows? Maybe he only got one. It's a legend. But regardless of the fact, it's not any of our money.
That's what's wrong.
And talking about and talking about getting receipts and getting a refund, I've put in money to the Vols Club since it started, since you could. I've bought Nico's gear. I've bought. I haven't received my shirt from Sanders yet, but I'm going to support these kids because guess what? They're coming to play for the Power T.
Yep.
And regardless of how they play, they're going to grow. Yes, he's been there in the system. He didn't play a lot last year. We keep saying all these things. It's going to click. I just wish folks wouldn't get on there and copy him and other people that are all a part of this team when they're giving their all. It may not look like it to us, but they are. And they'll find their way. I have a good feeling about that. Out of all the nastiness yesterday, and as stressed as I was, there are some things that we can build on, and I'm excited for that. But
it's funny we laugh at Danny White for text a buddy. That's good advice. Text a buddy. Don't go to social media. Don't go to wherever. Like, you don't think y'all, some of y'all tweet the same stuff that I'm saying. The difference is I'm saying it to these Batman Funko Pops and this beautiful, look at Rock. Look at this champ. Look at this guy. I'm talking to Rock.
Yo.
Like, he's telling me that I can change. And I'm like, you know what, Rock, you're right. You're right. I can't
Yo,
change, and I'm gonna change. I get the we're all passionate, right? We all want this team to win. That's why we act the way that we act. Like, if we didn't want this team to win, then we wouldn't care. We wouldn't be freaking out and going nuts. Let me hit some super chats real quick. Jay Carter drops a $10 super chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the old tip jar. And then he does it again. He drops another $10 super chat. I don't know if that's a mistake. If it is, I'm here for it. I'm down with that mistake. We appreciate you. Jason for 20. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
He says, "Hey gents, tough game to watch, but go Vols. On to the Mets tonight." The Mets? Oh, Jason's a New Yorker. Remember Coach Jay? He was in his New York bougie house talking trash to us, saying that we were in our mom's basement making videos. And then he's like, you know what? I kind of like these guys. And Jason has been a supporter ever since. He says, we'll be heading to Knoxville for the Alabama game, secretly hoping I run into Boogie for a selfie. You got to come about 2 hours further if you want to run into me. I got a job to do on game day. Somebody said, Boogie, were you with Kaner at the Vol Walk? Nope. I was right here doing a tailgate show is what I was doing. So, yeah, you guys not likely. You want to meet me in Boone after the during the bye week? I'll be there. Yeah, Coach Jay will be there for the Alabama game. By the way, speaking of that, are you doing a Calhoun's meetup? Or you guys
I think we plan on going. Is Wednesday when they do vol calls there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think we should be in. I think we should be in time to make it to vol calls. I'd like to go. I got to go do that in 2016, and I think Miss J got a picture with like Tyler Bird. I got to say hi to Khalil and talk a little bit of California football, all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to be able to get out there again and kind of check that out for sure. So hopefully I'm able to get over there Wednesday. But hey, I got to eat my barbecue on there, so you'll probably see me at multiple establishments, whether it be Sweet Peas or Calhoun's or wherever it may be.
We got a good joint that we're gonna hit up on Sunday night here. My wife, I'm like, find us somewhere good, and then she sends me this place. I'm like, why have we never been there? Looks amazing, so I'm excited for that. Mikey McMahon for 10. 7 times we beat the Gators since '98. 7. 2 of those are with Coach Josh Heupel. We say we're Gator haters. Are we? Yes, we are. We just beat them. One of the big three, and we got it done. Go Vols. Yeah. 2 out of 3 against Florida. Can we do it against Bama? We'll find out on Saturday. Tim Rice for 5. How much of a difference did their starting quarterback getting hurt help us, if any? It's huge. You got a freshman out there, and like people talking about that freshman and making plays and doing this, he also threw a pick that could have cost them the game. So huge. Mm-hmm. And like, I hate it for Mertz. Like not only a non-contact, nobody near him, man. Like he's just a freak thing. You hate to see that. Retro, unfortunately, has been a member for 3 months. Tim, the Tennessee Tornado for 5. Coach Hype beat Florida 2 out of 4 years. My math tells me that's 50%. We are back. I choose to enjoy the dub. We are relevant, baby, and I love it. Winner EC becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that support. Timothy McGee for 5. My question is, why don't we just max protect and roll Nico out to pass? I think you're going to see more rolling out. I think you are going to see more of that coming in the future. Show Low Man for 5. Gator fan here. Don't like y'all, but my friend's husband is OG Keenan Peely. Wait, is OG Keenan Peely my friend's husband? Wait, your friend is married to Keenan Peely? Is this a friend of Keenan Peely's wife? A stud. Sad he got hurt. Thought y'all gutted out that win. Go beat Bama. Well, we don't like you either, Show Low Man. But we appreciate you dropping in here and saying hello.
Yeah.
Man, I think Keenan Peely's probably done based on Heupel's reactions to the injury.
I hope not.
It sucks, man. Sean Cross for 5. Bleed Orange beard game is strong. I need to hear him sing Tennessee Whiskey. Bleed Orange, you want to sing on air or no?
Nobody wants to hear that. I've got. It's funny. It's funny because I get this lady at work calls me Chris Stapleton. I've been called Luke Combs. And I'm like, no, I'm don't get me wrong. I'd like to have their money, but no.
get you a good old guitar, and man, you make some money. Just get a guitar and go stand on the strip and see if people will come up to you. Blitz 621 for 5. Nico cannot be Nico with this offensive line. All right, we're caught up on Super Chats. Bleed Orange. One final thought, and then we'll get you off and get the next one on. That did not come out the right way. We will let you drop off the show. You talking about letting us sleep in your bed? I got distracted. Guys.
All one family, you know what I'm talking about? But
we're not Alabama.
My final thought is this. Yeah, or Arkansas, no offense, but I live right next door. But no, my final thought is let's stop the negativity. Not talking about us, but the rest of the fans. These guys are going to get better, and I don't know about you guys, and it may have been talked about before I got on, but I was extremely fired up to see the old Coach Hype to go for it on 4th and 3 on our 11. And even if we wouldn't have made it, I would not have cared because them boys would have ran through a daggum brick wall for him. They already will now. Yeah. But it's basically saying, hey, Florida, I don't care about you. I trust 100% in my guys that we're gonna dog walk you right here on this 4th down. And that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? So that gave some confidence. So I'm hoping that he continues. You know, I don't want to see it every 4th and 3 on our 11.
Coach Rice does.
But listen,
I just 20, 4th and 80.
He knows I'm playing with him.
I just want to get back to the aggressive calling. You know, I know there's some things that he's possibly seeing that the average fan's not. But you know, we got to get out of this conservatism and step on the throats. I got to see it. I got to see it. So that's all I got. Appreciate you guys letting me come back on for the second time after my little slip up. But if you guys ever need anything, hit me up. You know, I'm miles away, but it don't matter. I treat you guys like I treat my Marine family. So let's go. Let's go beat Bama.
We appreciate you, brother. Have a good night. If I need a place to sleep, I'll hit you up.
Hey, right here.
Later, brother. Mixed feelings in the chat. Gary, surprise. Gary doesn't like the new format. Takes up too much time. Boogie needs to control the combo. I like this new format. If I think, what do you got? All right, let's take a vote. Let's check. Let's check in with the chat. If you like the new format and the way this is going, bringing one person on, I think people like it. I think they get to come on and interact with me and Coach Jay and Coach Rice. I think they like it. If you like the new format, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't like it, put a 2 in the chat. We'll let you guys vote on it. If you like complete chaos and people talking over each other and interruptions and fighting for talking, let me know. You guys have a voice here. Dan Yoder for 10, 23rd anniversary this week. You know how you make it 23? Yes, 24 years ago, I put my foot down and said we're not getting married on the 3rd week of October. True story. You lay your foot down early and you're going to be okay. Jay Carter for 10, no mistakes, brother. All love from here in Florida. No power, no Wi-Fi, but I ain't missing the show. We appreciate you, Jay Carter. You dropped 2 $10 super chats, and I was afraid there was a mistake. What did I say? Did I say 1 was good? Was 1 good?
I don't know.
All I see is ones. All I see is ones in the chat.
One was
got a
good,
couple of 2s.
No.
A lot of 1s.
Can you believe? Can you believe there was actually a Tennessee fan who got married yesterday?
Oh Lord!
That I saw on Twitter. I mean,
I can't say that. I got married on the Alabama game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how you did it.
But
brother.
hey, but that was during the Bush Jones years.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's fair.
No, Jeremy Pruitt years. I mean, So yeah,
okay. All right.
It wasn't worth watching.
That's funny.
All right, let's is Vol Fan 25? Is he here? He's got his camera off. Vol Fan 20 loud and clear.
Look at that beautiful Yankees jersey.
Got a Yankees jersey on.
Look at it, like glowing in all its 20s.
What is the number 2 on the back, aka Derek Jeter's number?
Greatest of all time.
Can I say something extremely controversial real quick? Extremely controversial.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, I grew up a Braves fan, right? Like, I grew up on John Smoltz, Sid Bream, Otis Nixon, David Justin. I grew up with that era. But my stepdad was a Yankees fan. So, like, I had a respect for, like, the OG Yankees, right? Like Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth. Like, I had a respect for those guys. I wrote a big paper on Mickey Mantle. Like, middle school, I wrote a paper on Mickey Mantle. Like, I loved it. But then when the Boston Red Sox had that run and they came back from 3-0, and there's a great movie called Fever. Is it Fever Pitch? And I'm a sucker for a good rom-com. I love that movie. Because if you can't relate, what's his name? Is it Jimmy Fallon that's in that movie? Well, that's the Red Sox fan. If you cannot relate to him as a Red Sox fan that's had season tickets, and then he's like, oh, okay, we'll go on a date and I'll skip a game. And he's like, I've not missed a game in 25 years, but you think I did this for you? Like, if you can't relate to that, that's a great movie. And now I've got a picture of
boy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got derailed.
No, you're good. I'm just going through the chat real quick, and I'm just like, really, I'm seeing Red Sox fans, Braves fans, and I'm like, oh, come on. Y'all's run is over. Y'all's run is over this year.
Talking
Bagley's a huge
there you go, Matt.
Man.
Pride of the Upper West Side, baby.
Wait a minute. Look at this. We're bringing him on right now. Look at him sitting back there. He just put his Yankees hat on. We'll let these 2 Yankees clowns be on here together. How about that?
What's going on, boys?
All right.
Now there's
Ball
3
fan
of us.
25, you
Heck
kick us
yeah.
off, and then we'll let Matt hang out, and you guys can hang out together.
Okay.
Couple of Yankees.
Even though I'm from Tennessee, I've always going on the Yankees backstory real quick. Even though I live in Tennessee, born and raised here, my dad was a friend of the Yankees, so that's what kind of led me into that little path. So yeah, I got it from my dad.
Talking baseball. What about Tennessee, Florida? Let's talk about that. What were your thoughts after the game?
Okay, so I have a few points. I watched some of the game, but that first half was just god awful. To me, god awful. It could have been a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But we did hold Florida to a 3-point lead, which is honestly good. But we need to do more than that if we're going to be Alabama and Georgia.
Yep.
You've already beat one of the three, but Alabama and Georgia are going to be the toughest ones that we play this year.
I'm sorry, it's show and tell. Can y'all read
I
that?
agree.
Don Murphy.
Dale Murphy. Dale
Dale
Murphy
Murphy.
autographed
You
baseball.
dang.
So and
You
so.
dang.
Sorry. The chat was talking about Dale Murphy. I derailed everything Ball fan just said. So I'm sorry. This is what happens.
No, what I said was, Biggie, if I need to repeat what I said, I can. I
No,
don't care.
you're good. You're good. Coach Jay was listening. Go ahead, Coach. Jump in. Or Matt, you jump in on what he said.
I was listening.
I don't think he got
Yeah.
to all of his points, so we'll let him finish.
I'm sorry.
Burn.
I've wrecked the whole show with my autographed stupid baseball. Oh my gosh.
I mean, hey, we're all Tennessee fans here. We're just one big happy family, even though some of us are like, oh, this needs to happen, yada, yada, yada. Listen, the battered ball syndrome is over. Get that out of your heads. That is over with. If you have if you have the battered ball syndrome, get checked out by somebody. That's all I'm going to say. Get checked out by somebody because I'm a 25-year-old Tennessee fan who is excited that Tennessee is what are we 5-1 now?
Yep.
I can't even think straight. That's how excited I am about this because Josh Heupel has done so much within the past 3-ish years he's been there, 3 or 4 years, but I'm going to say this from my heart. I am proud to be a Tennessee Ball, and oh man, I'm about to cry because holy
I get
crap!
choked over the balls. That's all right. I get choked up over it.
I have a cousin who played for Tennessee. He was on their special teams. I forgot what years though, but let's just say it goes a whole lot deeper. It goes a whole lot deeper to me, knowing that I have family who played for Tennessee way back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think.
But I take pride in that.
I think going through so much misery, man, is tough, and obviously we all have a little bit of
Yes.
PTSD after it. I get it, and it's hard. It's hard to care, man. Right? It's hard to care because then you're disappointed, right? Like it's the truth of it. Like I remember the dark years. It was almost like, oh well, we lost the second game. Oh well, okay. At least I don't got to worry anymore. At least I can pack it in and go home and not give a crap. Like I'd rather care and be disappointed than accept that reality. I don't know. Maybe it's just
Oh no, I completely agree with you. Like, and again, I'm 25 years old, and I've seen the worst. I've seen the very worst in Tennessee the past decade, if not more.
More, definitely more.
Yeah, more.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love this
I
comment.
remember
MC Wade's
Derek
like, wait a
Dooley.
minute, way back in 2000.
in the year 2000.
I love somebody like Ball Fan 25 that's young and still chose Tennessee, even though they were not the cool team. Like they were awful. They were in the dumps, but you still fell in love with Tennessee. Like it was easy. It was easy for some people in the 90s and the early 2000s to fall in love with Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
See,
to.
I remember go ahead, Coach Jay. My bad.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like I obviously indoctrinated my son with Tennessee football and coached him, and he had a great football upbringing, and we, played college
Mm-hmm.
football, the video game together, and he'd play wide receiver, and I played
Yeah, I
quarterback, and we
remember
played
that.
defense and all that,
I remember all of it.
and I went to the 16 Florida game with him. Boogie, I know you were in attendance. I know a lot of you were with it. And man, I caught him at one point in the game, teared up, and he was like, I didn't know if I really got it. He's like, I get it. Like I get what this is about. This is special. This is everything you've said it was, and 10 times more. So man, the dark years were tough, and I do think
Oh
we need
yeah,
to
they were.
enjoy this, but we need to break through too. I think I had a moment in the beginning of the
Yeah.
season where I said it's okay to want more and demand more and expect more and chase perfection and try to catch excellence. So I get everyone wanting to go, especially the old timers who have seen it done. I get everyone wanting that more. It's okay for us to be greedy, I think. Let's not, like everyone was saying, let's not give up on our boys because it's not perfect yet. Let's try to stay behind them.
Yeah.
Speaking of old timers, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Bob on here too. He's the last. He's the last one in the back room. I'm like, I'm not gonna. Bob and Matt, all three of you guys have been in the back room for about an hour. So let's just get all you guys on here and we'll wrap it up like this. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Jordan Heron for 2 says, I was at that wedding. I have the video. Jordan, I hope you're not friends with him anymore. I'm not coming to your stupid anniversary parties. Carson Ray for 5. Mike Matthews needs to play over Nimrod. It's funny because Swain hyped up Nimrod so much in the offseason, and
just too many drops.
Yeah, I agree. Big Orange Mountain for 5. I'm 40 years old and remember sitting on my grandpa's lap on the carport listening to the Tennessee games. He died when I was 7. It runs deep here, man. So many stories like that, man. Like I've told my story on here a million times. Like I was talking to my wife about it today. Like I paused the game. I'm like, look at that. It's beautiful. Like it was Checker kneeling and the Vols letters were across the top. And she's like, those Vols letters are like, they're so retro. They're so old. Like I get it, like history. And I'm like, you understand as a kid, all I ever wanted to do was go to a Tennessee game. And nobody ever took me. Like my dad never took me. My stepdad never took me. Nobody ever took me. I never got to go. And all my memories as a child were driving by that stadium and you would see it, man. And it felt larger than life, man. That's where the Vols, that is the home of the Vols. And you see the letters. And I never got to walk in. I never got to walk through the tunnel. I never got to see the field. All I saw was those letters. And that was a part of my childhood. And then Danny White brings them back. Those letters mean something to me. And then getting to go to my first ever game. And God, man, what a story. Like the dude that I could have texted anybody. I got free tickets. I could have asked anybody to go. And the guy that I took that game with went to that game is no longer on this planet Earth. And you can never take that memory away from me, man. The first time I ever walked through that tunnel and it opened up and I saw Shield Watkins Field, you can never take that away from me. Like he's no longer on this planet. I know where he's at. I got faith and confidence. I know exactly where he's at now. But it's like, man, you can't take like it does run deep, Vol Fan 25. So when you get emotional and when Coach Jay talks about his son getting him, like I get him, like there's nothing like Tennessee football. I didn't expect that, but Big Orange Mountain, you got a story. Vol Fan 25's got a story. We all have stories. Let me hit this last super chat and then we'll
say hi to Jenny for us, Big Orange Mountain. Say hi to Jenny.
Thanks for bringing some humor back, Coach. Yeah, I needed it. I needed it. I always say y'all have heard the story, and then I proceed to tell the story, and then I get emotional again. Jay Carter drops a hundo.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Crazy, man. $100 is not cheap. Very generous. I appreciate that super chat. My very first Vols football game, I got to watch Tebow smack the Vols from the first row of the 50-yard line in Neyland. I won't ever complain about us beating the dang Gators. Cheers. Thank you, Jay Carter. That is very generous. Just win, man. Just freaking win. Matt, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the game, on the win, on the state of the program, on a fan base kind of divided?
I echo what Jay Carter says, man. My first game was, oh gosh, I don't even remember what year it was. Early '90s, 60-3 blowout in the pouring rain in Neyland with Florida. But I got back there for '04 for the field goal with Will Hoyt that, shook up the Florida Tennessee rivalry for a couple of years. Anytime you beat them, no matter what the expectation is, you go out and you beat Florida, you're 5-1 with Alabama coming to town. You got to be excited. Now that said, right? I mean, there's some things to fix. I've caught it and listened to it all night long, so it's going to be a lot of echoing. But a lot of improvement, but a lot of just execution errors. And and that key word execution. A couple of plays last night that if you're one spin of the ball less or one step faster, it's a different ball game on those deep throws. The throw to Brazel, that's so close of breaking that open and not having to punt and then go and kick that punt. Special teams was not good last night, which has been an echo of what Tennessee football under Heupel has not been, which is really interesting. Not returning the punt there. 2 bad punts to get yourself in field position, and then a penalty on the first punt too to put them down inside the 20 that we have to go and make a play and save it. All that said, the defense is absolutely amazing. I mean, they are ridiculously amazing, so deep. We've said that in the offseason. They have executed. They have played their butts off. They keep on getting put in bad situations. You go back and look at the last 2 weeks. They've had turnovers inside the 10-yard line, turnover at the 1, 4th down stops. I mean, just incredibly, playing well. And it changes the play calling for Napier. You saw that last night. I mean, they just absolutely played well. We put them in situation after situation, and the bend don't break mentality, finally broke on that last touchdown. But I mean, if the special teams don't punt line drives 2 punts in a row, they're starting from the side instead of inside the 30, it's probably back on the opposite 40. It's a big difference. So just key word of execution. I think the offense has the talent. You can see it across the board. Nico's got the most ridiculous arm talent we've seen since, in a long time, especially moving and accuracy wise. And then he makes a misread and throws into double coverage. I mean, it's just things that happen, especially for young quarterbacks. And he's 7 games into his career, and we're ready to execute him because he throws a pick against Florida. Guys, I mean, you look at that rivalry and how many times we should have beat them and we didn't, right? And last year, that being said again, right? You come out, you beat Florida, you're 5-1 going into Alabama. The world doesn't respect you again, right? You drop down to 11. You and Alabama did the same thing. You went down 3 spots in the polls. Bama stayed, right? The national media doesn't respect you. So we're back into what Tennessee does. Go shock Alabama, beat their butts again next week, and set yourself into a playoff race. Oh, and go Yanks, by the way, ball fan.
Yeah, go Yankees.
Let's see. I like this. I like when y'all are sharing stories in the chat, man. Christopher Wells for 10. My great grandpa was born in 1887. Huge Vols fan. When I played Little League with Sean Bryson, he said that kid will be a star. He died in 92. Wish you could have seen 98. That dude reading that just now gave me chill bumps, man. Like he was a captain of that national championship team. Like, people call different people the Gator Killer. Sean Bryson was a Gator Killer. Like that, he was a dude, man. That's a great story, Christopher. I appreciate you sharing that. Jay Carter for another 20. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Jay Carter for 20. Have a good night, guys. Got to plug the phone unit to the generator. Screw Milton, the hurricane, not Joe. Cheers. Appreciate you, Jay Carter. Very, very generous, my man. Bob, you've waited all night long to say something. Do you like the new format, Bob, or do you hate it? You want your spot back where you get to hang out all night, don't you?
No, it's good and bad both ways. I think as more people come on, it's going to draw the show out even longer and longer and longer, and you may lose. So you may end up having to do something modified, 2 or 3 like you've got now at a time instead of 8 to 10.
Yeah,
just something to think about. But there's been a lot of people out here. And everybody said things, people like me. I've been around watching Tennessee football since Bill Battle was our coach. And then we had Johnny Majors.
The minute.
You know, I've been around a minute, as Coach Jay says. You know, I remember all of Phil Fulmer's career, all of Johnny Major's career as a coach, not as a player. I'm not that old. So we had 3 fantastic coaches right in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what put Tennessee at prominence in the NCAA football in the modern era. Let me clarify that. Then we had 4 POSs who most of our fan base right now, the biggest majority of our fan base, that's all they've ever known. So I can't understand for the life of me why they're ready to bail on the 4th best coach so far. He could become in the top 3, top 2, maybe number 1 of my memory. But the top 4 coach in the top 4 coaches we've had in my volunteer life, they're ready to throw him under a bus. I don't get it. I really don't. This is the best coach you have ever seen, I promise you, by a mile. Yeah, we had 2 other coaches, but what was it? Jim Chancey coached for 1 game after Lane Kiffin.
None of that.
Yeah,
I don't count an
I don't count him or Brady Hoke, was it?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I don't count those 2. But Lane Kiffin, I ain't got none for him. I thought he was a good hire, and then when he flipped out in the middle of the night, no, we're done. I want to see everybody on the planet beat him. But the things that got to me is in the first quarter, Nico throws a absolute laser across the middle. Catch Vaughn. I was like, yes, they listen to the show. They're going across the middle. They're going across the middle. And it was wide open, guys. Wide open.
Yeah.
We did not see another pass across the middle until the 3rd quarter when they come back out.
Yep.
And that's when there another laser come in there and threaded a needle that should have never been thrown. I don't know of another person on the planet who, that nobody in our right mind would have ever made that throw. But he made it.
Yeah.
But he made it. That's the skill that Nico has.
Yeah.
Now, his problem, if you really watch the game on the rewatch, is fundamentals on that offensive line. You want to stop the holding calls? Quit putting your hands on the outside. Get your hands inside and get low. Get backing them up. They're backing you up. Nico's got to have room for his arm to move. If the offensive line is up against him, where's he going to throw? He can't. It's all in the fundamentals. Get out there and get some separation and get them pushed off that line. Win that line of scrimmage. Keep your hands inside and push. Quit trying to pull them around. Right now, you're just getting run over, and that's where our problem is on the offensive line. I don't think it's the heart of this Tennessee team. This Tennessee team has got the heart of any Lion, any pride of Lions. It's all about just executing.
Yep.
If they can get in there and execute and get back to their fundamentals and get their hands inside, because if you're on the inside, you can't hold. I played tight end in high school. Tight ends get in there and block. We're taught fundamentals. Get your hands inside of their hands. That way, if there's a holding call, guess who's going on? It's going on the defense.
Yeah.
Let them take the call. If your hands on the inside, you can't grab hold of them. So that was my takeaway on the offensive line. Defense, lights out. Lights out. They got burnt a couple times in the second half, but it was bend not break.
Yep.
Give them a little bit, but keep them in front of you. Don't let them get behind you, and they didn't. So those are my takeaways. But quit bashing our players. They've got the heart. Quit bashing the coaches, except where needed, but don't actually bash them. You can have complaints. I had some complaints last night, but I'm not the one asking for anybody's head. I'm not asking for anybody to get fired. I heard people saying Hype was on a hot seat if he loses to Florida. Hot seat? Somebody explain that one to me. His feet
Basically.
isn't even lukewarm. It's not even lukewarm. He still got liquid nitrogen under his feet. He ain't going nowhere.
No, he ain't. No, he's not.
No, he ain't.
Now,
Well, changes be made, afterwards. Is
our O-line coach is Ellerby, right? Or am I wrong? Okay. Heupel needs to get him in the office. Hey, we need to get back to fundamentals, get these guys on track. When it comes to Alabama game, I think it's going to be a tight game, but they're not playing any better than we are. They aren't. Their offensive line is not holding up that well. Their defense is not as good as ours. If you go look at the stats and you measure Tennessee against Alabama, we should be the favorite, but we're not. Especially since they're coming home to Neyland. So
I think that's where it's like a toss-up because Alabama's offense does have an identity and has a pulse. Yes, they struggled against South Carolina a little bit, but South Carolina, I will give it to them. That's
lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Well, but they scored 35 points. I mean, my thing is, there's a problem with there's a difference in winning and losing games, and then a team not having an identity, and whether you're winning or losing those games. And the reason why, there's a lot that went into why Alabama. A lot of it's because it's Alabama. I mean, their AP poll is going to show them some bias. It just is what it is. But Alabama,
well, we can see that.
Yes, I will say we're playing better defense than them right now. That's zero doubts on that at all. But what is this game now? This game is everybody wants to see high-powered offense, fun, high-scoring games. Well, yes, Alabama's struggling right now. I agree with you 100% on that. But what they don't lack is an identity right now on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's also part of the reason why you saw Tennessee drop and Alabama didn't. Because we're struggling to muster up anything. And when we do get something going, we miss it. So I think it's a lot that goes into why you see. And not only that, you had an undefeated Iowa State team jump us. Clemson's been playing better ball than we have. Yes, granted, who are they playing? But I'm just saying, and LSU's been playing better ball than we have.
Kansas State's kicking butt. I got to give them their props.
Been playing pretty good.
Like everybody's making a big deal out of this. I don't freaking care.
I don't care either.
You've got Alabama coming up on Saturday.
If we go out and beat Bama, we go out and beat Georgia. Not saying we are.
You'll be perfectly fine.
And I get what we will everything get taken care of.
And I agree with what Bob's saying. It's like their loss is worse than Tennessee's. I don't care what people say. They can say Vanderbilt's the greatest thing ever.
Yep, I agree.
It's so dumb. I don't care.
Amen to that.
Alabama's loss is way worse. But guess what? Alabama also beat Georgia. Their win is way bigger. So I do not care.
And I get that. I don't understand. I don't agree that we dropped 3 spots and they didn't drop at all. I think they should have dropped at least 1.
I don't think we should have dropped below Iowa State or Clemson.
Me neither.
LSU,
But at the end
you can argue.
At the end of the, you nailed it. Look, at the end of the day, and it's why Coach Rice, probably all of us don't give a crap too much about this, because you don't like it, go shut them up. If you don't like it, go do something about it. And go beat Alabama. I will say this, based on both teams and what I've seen, is both teams are beatable right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think, especially Coach Rice, man, you can stop me if I'm wrong here, Coach Rice, but I think you would agree. There's a little bit of a book on how to attack Alabama's defense right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Tennessee's got to go execute that now, and they have to do it at a consistent level. They can do that. We can win that game 100%, I think.
Sorry.
But we have to do it. But it's easy to say. You got to go execute.
Georgia laid out the blueprint. And
God
there's
bless
another
America.
guy. I know he's a Georgia fan, but I love watching his film breakdowns. It's the Film Guy Network.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
He does a good job. I know he's a Georgia fan, but I think he does a real good job. Alabama's defense is really predictable right now. What they line up in, where they're bringing their blitzes from, like it's very predictable. And so that's why I think that Tennessee will have those opportunities. But like I said earlier in the show, you got to take the advantage of those opportunities and make those plays that we've seen the defense been making week in and week out and winning these games for us.
Well, here's one thing: is Arkansas held us pretty tight using a 3-3-6 or a 3-3-5.
Wait, they had an extra guy out there, Bob? How did that not get
Seems like it
called,
sometimes,
Bob?
didn't it?
Bob.
I got the it in my head, 3-3-6. So but 3-3-5, they used 3-3-5. What did Florida start coming out with in the first half? 3-3-5. And that does hold us. That does hold us.
Everybody's going to do it until we can.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Coach Rice, is we know what Alabama does, but they don't normally run the 3-3-5. We need to be prepared to run either against Alabama's normal defense or the 3-3-5, ready to adjust for that on the fly right now.
Yep,
you're right. I mean, did you guys see? I don't know if y'all watched Friday morning. Me and Coach Jay watching the press conference from midweek last week, and they asked Coach Heibel about that, the 3-3-5. And they're like, "You've seen all this before." And he just laughed. He's like, "Of course I have. I've been coaching football a long time.
Yeah.
I've seen all this crap. I know how to attack it." But Bob, you brought up a good point. You got to be prepared. Like your game plan. If you don't game plan for it, in Arkansas, they completely changed what they do on defense. And Tennessee had to adapt to that.
Right.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've just been thinking about all day long. I rewatched the game today too, and I focused, for a long time just on the execution of the O-line. We finally started rolling Nico right, but there were many plays, and even when he wasn't sacked, and we had that in the second quarter of the 3 straight sacks or 2 by the same guy coming off and beating Lance Hurd. The play right before that, Hurd got blown up. We just had gotten the ball out quick on the right side. The problem that I run into with this offensive line development overall is just the simple fact that we all are screaming for Dane Davis to get more playing time, but John Campbell can't stay healthy, and Davis is over on the right side. There's nobody that can come in and spell those two. And I heard it earlier in the chat, that we haven't had a guy step up and start that's been recruited at Tennessee under Heupel and Ellerby. The depth of this offensive line in the middle is okay potentially, but the tackles, I don't know what you do with Hurd. Run blocking, if you watch him, he's pretty good run blocking. He had a great block on that Sampson touchdown to get out and show the speed and athleticism he has. But he gets so off balance and so quickly pass blocking, and they just cannot protect the blind side. And it's a problem. And I don't know what you do with that. We've rolled him right many times, and that's the only thing they can do to give him more time. But
they're lining up in a 2-point stance on the outside.
When you don't have offensive line breakdowns, and when you can't protect your quarterback, other than getting him out or getting the ball outside, trying to run away from it.
He's young. Do you think, Matt? Do you think he can develop and get better? Do you think he's out of shape? Like when you talk technique, being in shape, like maybe late in the game, your technique falls off. But again, it goes back to the conversation earlier about Glenn Ellerby.
Can he be developed? Absolutely. Will he be developed? That's the question. We haven't seen anybody developed under the staff yet, and that's one of the things that scare you to death about this team. Is they just they're not executing on the O-line other than in the middle of the field. If you see the PFF grades from those last night, I mean, it is
awful,
atrocious, awful. Yep. And we still ran for 140 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that.
But you got, like Coach Rice brought up a good point that never crossed my mind. Into the fourth quarter, like they're playing soft. They're expecting a deep shot, and I don't know. I forget how long that run Sampson had was. If you subtract that,
24 or 5 yards.
Yeah, his numbers were not as good as they look on paper.
No,
that was a good point.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
There's a lot.
the thing is,
there's a lot that goes into why the defensive line. I mean, the offensive line's playing bad. Is it coaching? Is it effort? Is it conditioning? Is it play calling? Like, I mean, it's a lot that goes into it, and what the defense is giving you, and being prepared to what that defense is giving you. So that goes into the coaching, but a lot of this can be avoided if, like, I didn't see it the other night. There was a couple plays maybe, but I'm still not seeing short scripted passing schemes. Like, everything is deep digs over the middle, deep crossers, 10 or 15 yards or further. Like,
I can only think of
routes.
three. I can think of three. That's about it, Coach Rice.
Yeah,
that I can think
and that's
of.
when you got an offensive line that's struggling, and in the early in the game can't get the run game going. There's three things that a short scripted pass can do. Other than, I'm not even counting the bubble screens and the
Tunnel
screens
I
and
wish they
the
did
quick
what
screens.
once. I think they did it once.
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like easy. These
Whip
are
routes.
simple reads
Yeah,
a QB can make, where he's reading a linebacker, and wherever that linebacker goes, he's throwing opposite of where that linebacker went. It's stick routes, snag routes, simple concept smash routes. Like, and we ran a couple of those where Nico ran outside the pocket, and we ran, sprint out smash routes. But there's certain things that this coaching staff has to recognize that they got to do better to put Nico and the offensive line in better positions to succeed. It's just, especially when the run game's not going, because if we don't get the run game going, this offense is in trouble. Like, because Coach Heupel's whole offense is centered around winning the box and getting that run game going, then play action off of it, because it opens up the middle of the field and the outsides. If you don't get that run game going, you got to make adjustments to where you're putting your offense in an offensive line and a better chance to be able to succeed. And that's point blank. And that's not going to change until they make those adjustments. I hate to say it, and that's not Nico's fault. That's all on play calling. That's putting your quarterback in the best chance to succeed.
And let's think of three plays that worked in synergy together really quick, right? There was the play where Nico faked it and then pulled it for 12 yards, right?
Yeah.
Next time we saw that read, Samson touchdown for 22 yards.
Yeah.
Overtime, same play. Nico pulls it, throws to Thornton down the sideline, almost goes for the touchdown. These plays need to work better in synergy if we're just not getting a push and running the same give the whole time, then plays aren't working off each other. That was what was so concerning the Arkansas game to me, is there was none of that setup play and one play working off and playing off of other plays. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that bothered me on the Florida game is when I played football, your front five were in a 3-point stance.
Did you wear a leather helmet?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
The one bar.
I'm just saying.
Oh.
We had one bar, like the old kickers.
Okay. I got you.
Anyway, they were always in a 3-point stance. That way you got low to the ground, so you could come up underneath that defensive lineman and push him off the ball. I'm seeing our outside O-lineman standing up in a 2-point stance and the defense in a 3-point. Who's got the low ground then? Who's going to get the push? Yeah. And that's what's happening. And they're pushing them back on the Nico. Now, I don't know if that's
straight up. Hurt standing straight up.
They're standing straight up on both sides. On both sides of the ball. Go back and look at it. I sat there watching. I'm going, why are you up there like that? And that's why he's getting off balance, because they're getting down low on him and taking his low center of taking the center of gravity away.
Yeah.
A lot of times, the reason why those tackles are in a 2-point stance is because of pass block, getting into your pass block set. But that's not excusing playing high. I completely agree with you. There's a difference and being out of stance and not playing playing, chest up. There's a
Yeah.
massive difference, and a lot of it is we pull our tackles a lot, and it's hard to get out of that 3-point stance and pull for our dart plays or our wide trout plays. That's the reason why you see our tackles in 2-point stances. But I completely agree with Hurd, especially. Campbell's not as bad, but as far as playing high, but he's playing straight up, and that's the reason why the Edge is beating them. But I'll just help answering your point.
Yeah.
Let me hit these super chats real quick. Timothy McGee for 5 says less option routes. We still can't read the defense as we want, and apparently our wide receivers can't either. They're gonna, I swear, they're trying to let Nico do less and set him up. Knoxville Buckeye for 5. AP and coaches polls don't matter anymore. Nothing more than the only poll that matters starts on November the 5th. Like Coach Jay said, I do not care. Just look, it's fuel. Go take care of Alabama and let the chips fall where they may. We're going to wrap it up. We're an hour and 45 minutes into it. I get it. I don't get it. Gary's the only person that's mad. Gary's in the chat saying this show sucks. You only let 5 people on. We had way more than 5 people on, right? Way more than 5 people.
Yeah, way more.
But Bob's on to something. Maybe we let 2 at a time or maybe 3 at a time. Look, I ain't some freaking YouTube guru expert. We've had conversations off air, me, Coach Jay, and Coach Rice. How do we make the fan call-in show more successful? So we're figuring it out as we go. Maybe next Sunday we let 2 come on at a time or 3 come on at a time. We want you guys to have a voice, but we also don't want 7 people on here and everybody talking over each other. So we're balancing it out. We're trying to figure out what works better. If you got ideas, let us know. So maybe next time we'll let 2 to 3 come on at a time. But also, Gary's arguing there's not a single person in the back room waiting to come on. So there could be 75 people waiting. Not a single person is waiting to come on the show now. So everybody that popped in the back room got on. They got a voice, got to hang out. That is going to do it for tonight. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with Eric Kane of VolQuest and Locked On Vols. Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, EA Sports College Football 25. Unfortunately, the national championship's not going to take place. We'll play our regular Tuesday nights. Coach Rice in the national championship. We're waiting. We are waiting on the other 2 to play.
It's over. It's over. Penn State won.
Did they play? So Coach Rice versus Foul Ming in the national championship. Coach Rice has the little one on Tuesday, and I said, bro, that's what's more important. Unfortunately, because of my schedule, we can't move it to a different night, so they'll play off air. But we'll still hang out Tuesday night, have a good time. Wednesday night, Talkin VAWLS Live, we'll start to talk about Alabama. But that is going to do it for Coach Jay, for Coach Rice, for Bob, for Matt Begley, for Vol Fan 25. My name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home.